Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
Well, the Eagles season is officially over as they fall to the Seattle Seahawks 17-9 at home in the wild card round. And listen, I'm proud of this football team. I'm upset. Right now. This is my instant reaction. The game literally ended 5 minutes ago. So yes, I am upset and my emotions are high. But when I take a step back and look at what I just witnessed, Josh McCown in a one-possession football game under 2 minutes with a chance to tie the game up if they scored a touchdown and got a 2-point conversion. When I look at Zach Ertz playing through a rib injury and the whole kidney situation, Greg Ward battling with this squad throughout the backstretch when he got called up, Boston Scott, you had Shelton Gibson drawing a pass interference play. When I just look at it from a few steps back, I admire what they did. There's one thing that I know happened in this game, and that's everyone left everything out there on the field. They did everything they possibly could. There are some moments that pissed me off throughout this one, and we will absolutely get to that, but all around, I don't look at this team and say, they didn't give it to me. They didn't give me maximum effort. They did. The circumstances totally flipped in the middle of this game. Not even in the middle of this game, to be honest with you. It was earlier on. And we will talk about this game in its entirety. But before we do, we need to hear a word from my sponsor, SeatGeek. Are you looking to go to games, Sixers, Flyers, anything, any team? I can give you money off. If you use the promo code BROADS at SeatGeek's checkout page when buying tickets, you get $20 off. Well, it's a no-brainer. That's parking. That's beer. That's food. Use the promo code BROADS today. So we'll get this Carson Wentz hit out of the way. Was it a late hit on Clowney? Absolutely. It absolutely was a late hit. It was cheap. It was everything the NFL is trying to get out of this league. When they show the textbook plays that they don't want in the NFL anymore, it's that play. Carson Wentz giving himself up, and his backside, Clowney, delivers a helmet-to-helmet hit and knocks Carson Wentz out of the football game. The refs missed one. Very frustrating to see that. Annoyed. Changed the outcome of the game. Potentially changed the outcome of the game. Who knows? The Seahawks could have still won if Carson Wentz played. Absolutely they could have. But it was a monstrous missed call. Would the call have changed anything, though? Carson Wentz still would have been knocked out. Of course, there would have been a penalty, but the problem is he made the hit. Here's the thing, though. We have seen, week after week, NFL refs make mistakes, miss calls. The Saints, what happened with the overtime? Did Minnesota push off? What happened with Seattle and the 49ers when they played in the last game of the season to even figure out who was coming to Philadelphia? Was there a missed pass interference call? I mean, there's calls literally every single week that make or break games. I'm not even upset about the missed call in this one. They missed it, but I'm not even mad about that because what would have happened if they made the call? What would have happened? Carson Wentz still would have been out of the game. So I'm just really disappointed because I wanted Carson Wentz to experience this game. Win or lose, my takeaway was going to be Carson Wentz got to experience the atmosphere. And let's be fair, this was not his fault. This isn't Carson Wentz's fault. This isn't an injury-prone quarterback. If that's your mindset, then you're lacking brain cells. If that's how you process this, you're lacking brain cells. Carson Wentz was on the other side of a very poor decision made by Jadeveon Clowney that he will not have to pay the price for. Sadly, that is true. Carson Wentz was in the wrong spot at the wrong time. There's no quarterback that would have survived that hit. That's a concussion to anyone who gets hit in that spot. So who cares if you had 8 leg injuries before that, 6 broken arms before that, a broken hand? It doesn't matter. If you are taking that helmet-to-helmet hit, you are getting injured. You are going to have a concussion. So I'm more disappointed in the fact that it happened. I'm more pissed off at Clowney than I am the refs missing that call. Because you got to know better. That wasn't close. It wasn't, sort of, kind of, we didn't mean it. No, that was flat out awful. That's flat out what they don't want in the league anymore. So I just feel for the kid. He finally makes it through 16 games. We're all happy. He brought this team on a run late through the season with practice squad guys. And for it to go out like that, it just sucks. And we would have been more satisfied if he just got to play the game, because it comes down to experiencing that moment. Look at what Josh Allen did in his glory moments. He's throwing lateral passes. He was lost mentally throughout that game. Not that I think Carson Wentz is made up like Josh Allen when it comes to the mental side of the game. I think Carson Wentz is way stronger mentally and knows more about the game, that he wouldn't do anything Josh Allen did. But my point is, experience matters. And the guy can't catch a break, and it's horrible to watch. Speaking of roughing the passers and late hits, Derek Barnett had one too. And a lot of Eagles fans are disgusted because the refs called it on Derek Barnett but not Carson Wentz. Here's the thing. The one on Derek Barnett, which led to a first down, obviously, and which led to a Marshawn Lynch touchdown, that was a late hit. That was roughing the passer. In today's game, that's roughing the passer. That was stupid. Stupid by Derek Barnett. And I'm so pissed off with him. I am just not happy with what he has provided for this team since he's been drafted as first-round talent. I don't see it. I mean, there's splashes here and there very periodically, like it's not consistent enough, and he lacks IQ. He makes dumb decisions. That was a dumb decision. That's what makes the Carson Wentz hit bother me more. Because if you're going to call that one, how do you not call the other one? But they're both it. The Derek Barnett late hit on Russell Wilson, it was a late hit in today's era. I look at Derek Barnett and I'm frustrated with him in that moment. You have to be smarter than that. That's putting your team in a bad position. You know the rules. You know how it is. Don't try and hit and pull up. No, you know what it is. The defensive line wasn't good enough for me. Fletcher Cox was the only one, and he was magnificent. He was eating all game long. One-handed, throwing guys down, and big dudes, may I add. They're not just small players he's throwing around. Fletcher Cox abused that offensive line. No one else really got going, and to be honest with you, it only led to one sack total for the Eagles. So talking about in pregame and preview videos how banged up the Seahawks offensive line is, to only get one sack, that's annoying. Where are the other players on the line? Because sacks or no sacks, Fletcher Cox was a factor. I'm looking around him and say, yo, fellas, wake the hell up. While you have Carson Wentz getting sacked and Josh McCown getting sacked as well for a total of 7 times. Jason Peters, woof, what a bad performance. Bad moments in this one. Let's get to Josh McCown. I know a lot of people on Twitter were reacting very emotionally after that 4th down call with under 2 minutes to go. Was that 4th and 7? Yes, it was 4th and 7, and he didn't get the ball out of his hands, and he got sacked. I just couldn't believe it. Think about this. We are upset about Josh McCown on 4th and 7 in a playoff game at home? When it's a one-possession game, when he battled and did everything he possibly could, understanding the circumstances. We're mad at Josh McCown for taking a sack. Of course, I want him to get the ball out. But my point is, think about where the Eagles are. Think about this situation I'm even describing to you. Josh McCown is not the problem. He was not the issue on why this team didn't win the football game. I think it goes on the defensive side, to be honest with you. I don't know if they had enough at the end of the day, once Carson Wentz went down, to win this game anyway. Even though it was close, even though it was one possession, it's remarkable that it was, but I thought the Seattle Seahawks were the better team. But it's just crazy to bash Josh McCown for that one play. Does he need to get the ball out? Yes. But that's not where the game was won or lost. I thought Doug Pederson did a magnificent job when it came to coaching this game. There were times earlier in this matchup where he was a little bit cautious. And we know Doug Pederson as, listen, he's going to go for it. He's going to be aggressive. He's going to take chances. He's going to take risks. I liked that he was cautious and playing smart. Circumstances change everything. His mindset needed to flip at some point once he realized Carson Wentz was not in the game anymore. There were times where he played it safe and he played for a field goal and he kicked those extra 3 points to keep the Eagles involved. His mindset was clearly keep the Eagles involved, keep his team in reach, just in reach, and when it comes down to it, be aggressive late when you need to. And that's totally fine. That's not coaching scared. That's not coaching soft. That's coaching logically. That's using your brain, knowing that the situation has changed. If Carson Wentz is in the game in that moment, maybe you go for it and throw the ball on 3rd and long instead of maybe handing it off to Boston Scott. But I think about it as keep your team in reach until you really have to be aggressive. And late in the 4th quarter, when it was a 1-possession game, he went for it on 4th and 4, and I thought the play call was good. I thought that was the right moment to be aggressive instead of kicking the points. Instead of kicking the field goal, he decided, let's be ballsy, let's go for it. It was a good play call. Josh McCown threw the ball a little low and a little behind Miles Sanders. It would have converted if he threw it a little bit better, but I mean, he's a backup quarterback for a reason. I know everyone wants to say, well, he's a veteran and he's 40 years old, so he's been around. Yes, but he's been around on bad teams and he's a backup quarterback. For what he is, he did a tremendous job. But in that play call, in that moment, the ball was a little bit behind him and a little bit low. The play call was there. If it was executed properly, it would have been a first down. I'm okay with being aggressive there, and I'm okay with going for it and the play call. Then you go to the 4th and 7, and this was under the 2-minute warning. If you went for it with 6 minutes to go on 4th and 4, there's no doubt about it. Even with all your timeouts, you were going to go for it again, and it just didn't work out. The practice squad magic ride ended up running out. And quite honestly, yeah, it was going to eventually. It was going to eventually. I think we are so used to the Nick Foles magical ride, next man up. That worked for a season. That worked one time to win a Super Bowl, which was awesome. More times than not, this is how it ends when you have all these backup players in. That's why it's so miraculous that we are even in this position to begin with. So where did the Eagles lose this one? I know when you look at it as a whole and you see 17 points scored by the Seahawks, and that's really a good number. Like I would say, if you told me before the game, hey, bros, the Seahawks are going to score 17 points. Do the Eagles win the game? Yes. Now, if you ask me, hey, bros, Carson Wentz leaves the game with a concussion, Josh McCown is in. Will 17 points win the football game? I would say there's a fighter's chance. There's a chance, maybe. But here's the thing. They got abused on 3rd down. They did not make their tackles. They did not play tough enough. So many 3rd down conversions. They converted 8 of 15, but they were long plays on 3rd down. For example, it was 3rd and 15, 3rd and 18. No, I think it was 3rd and 15. Yeah. Nigel Bradham misses a tackle. Jim Schwartz plays the sticks, which is a very frustrating way to play things, but here's the thing. It worked. I mean, it worked. Nigel Bradham had to make a tackle on Russell Wilson. He flat out misses the tackle, and Russell Wilson gets a first down. The sticks worked. It worked. It just was not executed properly. That's not on Jim Schwartz. So Nigel Bradham misses that play. There was a play where Cre'von LeBlanc missed a tackle on Moore. He goes on a big gain. There was a 3rd and 1, which ended up being an 18-yard gain. It was like all these 3rd downs were being converted for big plays. There was a 3rd and 4, 26-yard gain. Now, there was a 2nd and 18, which is a obviously good position for the Eagles to be in. Tyler Lockett makes this obnoxiously beautiful toe-tapping catch on Cre'von LeBlanc. They were targeting him. They were going after him, and it did work at times. And listen, when you look at Tyler Lockett, that's what I was concerned about going into the game. DK Metcalf, that's what I was nervous about going into the game. He sealed the deal. It was 3rd and 10, another 3rd and long situation. He just blows by everybody. And then it gets to about the 50. It's a shame that the Eagles season ends on DK Metcalf, 7 receptions for 160 yards and a touchdown, and Jadeveon Clowney, 2 guys that they could have had. Now, at the time, I would have done the Clowney move for the draft picks. I was more about anti-2 first-rounders for Ramsey. When I saw the package they gave up for Clowney, I would have done that. But the DK Metcalf thing, for JJ Arcega-Whiteside to suck this badly in his first season, yeah, it's embarrassing. I would feel bad if I was him. Really, I would. For him to give that type of effort throughout the 16-game season and the playoff game, I'd be really disappointed. Am I being a little harsh and emotional? Yeah, maybe, because I just watched a guy the Eagles should have drafted totally rip apart this team, while JJ Arcega-Whiteside, I'm clapping because I'm happy he had a first down early in the game, which ended up getting called back because of a holding on Zach Ertz anyway. It's just embarrassing. So all the third downs were bad. I thought there were some penalties where they really didn't help themselves, whether it was a false start or even a delay of game. Just problems where they struggled and it didn't help the team. They struggled in the red zone, but would it have been different if Carson Wentz was out there? I would like to think yes, but I'm not going to say, we would have won with Carson Wentz, because that's not how this works. I don't know if they would have won with Carson Wentz. From what I saw early in the game, the offense wasn't buzzing. The offense wasn't moving. They were struggling at times, and they weren't really moving the ball very well. 3 and outs and getting 1 first down and punting the ball. It wasn't as if Carson Wentz was destroying this Seahawks defense. Very unfortunate for him, though. Jason Peters, wow. I thought at some moments, wow. It's time to move on to the kid. It's time for Dillard to take over. I'm in a weird spot because I didn't think the Eagles can really make much noise after this game. So I'm not crying because I can't believe the run's over. I didn't see the run going very far. But because of Wentz going down, not being able to experience the atmosphere, not seeing what he's capable of, and seeing him in that big moment, it just really hurt everything. I was sitting on the couch and I was bummed out throughout this. Even if they won, I would have been happy, obviously, and would have been really proud of this team. But Carson Wentz was the big thing in this game, and he was the big question mark at times throughout this season. Even coming into the season, he was the big question mark, and he finally did it. He rallied with the team, and he wasn't able to finish it out, and with no other reason than an unfortunate hit. But the unfortunate hit was absolutely pathetic on one man's part. That was flat out awful and disgusting and disturbing in today's era of football. It's just what it is. Russell Wilson made plays. The guy made plays, all right? You saw him use his legs, 20-plus yard gains. He was working his magic. He threw the ball. Last time we played them, he missed an opportunity in the end zone, and DK Metcalf had a drop pass, and, well, this time, they nailed him. This time, Metcalf made the catch. Russell Wilson made the throws, right? So it was a really great performance when you look at Russell Wilson, and that's what he's capable of doing. That's what he does. Similar to when the Sixers just got not blown out by the Rockets, but they lost to the Rockets because James Harden dropped 44 points and was hitting step-back 30-foot J's, right? That's what he does. Well, this is what Russell Wilson does. There's a reason why he was at the top of his game throughout this year. And without Lamar Jackson, you can argue that he was the MVP of the season. I do have to admit something, though, and I'm not happy about it. I'm not proud about this. There's a chance I made a big-time mistake. I normally watch the game in the same spot every single week. Now, we lost in Miami when I was sitting in this spot, and we also won the last 4 games of the season in this spot. So there were some bad losses and some good wins in this spot that I watched the game at. In my basement, in the big beanbag chair, all the lights off, dark atmosphere, TV super loud. I watched in the family room. No one was home. The dog sitting on the couch. I'm like, I'll watch in the family room. Am I the reason why the Eagles lost? Did I make a poor decision? I'll tell you what, as soon as the final buzzer ended, I thought to myself, I did this. Eagles Nation, it was me. How dare I? Because the last 4 games, I sat straight up. I was in a good position. Once I changed my posture, the last 4 games was all Eagles. How dare I? I don't feel good about it. Here I am at the end of the Eagles season with mixed emotions. Proud of the team, proud of the fight. I know that they will go to battle and give us everything. There are some players, and not players as a whole, but moments where I'm disappointed, like LeBlanc missed tackle, Nigel Bradham missed tackle, some of the defensive linemen that didn't get enough pressure at times. But all around, I know they left everything out on the field. How about Vinny Curry, by the way, with that blocked field goal early in the game? The link was so obnoxiously loud at that moment. It was blaring through my television. It was so loud, and I couldn't believe it. What a block by him. What great penetration to get his hand up there. What a remarkable play, really. But all around, that's what I'm saying. Like, everyone went out there and worked hard for the most part and gave us everything. As I stated, a couple plays here and there that a player would want back and some tough looks in third downs, absolutely. But am I supposed to be pissed off at these guys? Am I supposed to be pissed off that with a backup quarterback and 5 practice squad players, we weren't able to be successful in the playoffs? This is reality. This is what it's like when you have that type of roster out there. A lot of question marks, a lot of ways to attack this offseason, and it's going to be interesting because they have a lot to do. A lot to do. Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman should be sick watching DK Metcalf. Sick in his stomach for drafting JJ Arcega-Whiteside. Can't stand him. He's a hate the face to me. I'm not going to lie to you. Just can't stand him. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Well, there you have it. You have a season that ended with 9-7 and a first-round playoff loss at home. Are you satisfied? Are you upset? Are you disappointed? Keep in mind, this is the instant reaction as the game just ended, so feelings change. You sleep on it, you wake up the next day, you're still upset. It's not a victory Monday. You know the season's over, so it'll be gloomy, it'll be dark, but I think as a couple days pass, you look back and you say, wow, how did this even happen? What occurred? It's insane to think that it was 17-9, a one-possession game. With everything that occurred, a one-possession game with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter against Russell Wilson? With Josh McCown and Greg Ward? Josh McCown, I loved how much he went out there and battled. I pictured my dad running around out there. Really, I pictured my dad doing that because that's essentially what it was. But he was tripping over his own feet. He was fumbling the ball. Like, he was all over the place. But for him to go out there, he pulled a hammy at one point. He's limping. And he wasn't the only one to feel that pain. Miles Sanders at the end of the half went down. Brandon Graham went down, went to the locker room. I feel like this game defined the season. And I know that's very cliche at times when you look at a game that ends the season. For example, the Patriots, right? The Patriots lost to the Titans. Well, they couldn't really move the ball, and Tom Brady was getting sacked. And, well, it just seems like it was that type of season for us. That's like a standard thing to say. But when you look at it, it kind of was. It kind of was describing this season without the drop passes, if you will. But with the injuries going down, more injuries, backup players, that's how it went. That's just how it went this season. And I tip my cap, even though I am upset at this moment just because I know the season's over. I tip my cap for what they were able to provide. But I always say this. Always, always, always. I'm proud of the team. The last 2 years, I've been very proud of this team. But this is not the way to live. This is not the way to be. You don't want to be this every season. Oh, it's a miraculous journey and they're fighting to the end. No. Be good. Have sustained success. Sustain it. Be a good team throughout the year. I know injuries change everything, but my point is, the last 2 years it was, you're underachieving, your back's against the wall, wow, look at this push. How about we overachieve? How about we achieve? So we don't have to live this way. Doesn't take away from what they've done over the last 2 years, but I'm not going to handle 5 years of this, 6 years of this. It's not the way to live. I trust Doug Pederson. I think he did a hell of a job coaching this game. I think Jim could have done better in certain situations, but I don't think the players executed as well as they could have defensively, so it made him look a little worse than what he was. But I didn't think Jim had the greatest game, and we needed him to. Although 17 points, is that good enough to win? It could be. But still, it came down to those third down conversions and how many tackles were missed and big plays happening and cornerbacks being beat. Listen, those cornerbacks, they are what they are. The Cre'von LeBlancs, the Jalen Mills, the Rasul Douglases, they are what they are. They're not playmakers back there. They're not legit cornerbacks. They're not shutdown guys. You can tie that into, well, Broads, you didn't want to give up 2 firsts for Jalen Ramsey. That's on you. I still wouldn't. Knowing where this team is right now, you would want 2 first-rounders gone for Jalen Ramsey right now? Listen, I'm not going to tell you absolutely no, but I'm totally okay with the position that they're in right now and going in a different way as well. I wanted the 2 first-round picks because look at this team. There are so many holes. There are so many problems. There are so many spots that need to be filled. The roster stuff and the future, that can come with time. For right now, it's about this game. It's about the loss to Seattle. It's about the loss of Carson Wentz. It's about the battle of injuries. And we will have plenty more Eagles talk throughout this week. But here's my instant reaction to the loss. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and I will see you next time.